Well, I don't quite know what you're asking here. There's two different parts of the conversation here. If you're running a local large language model and you're running one of these agentic systems to write you an application, for example, or I don't know, write you a screenplay, it doesn't matter, whatever it's going to write, and using the local model, everything there is happening locally. Now, you can add tools that access the internet, but it still processes it locally, right? So that's a layer of risk, but you can just run a local large language model completely on its own. If you have to send things out to one of the big models, right? Like if you're doing medical stuff and you want it to be really good answers, you don't want to run that locally. You want one of the big ones. Then I would put a thing in the middle of it, a de-identification system that retains the anonymity, but sends the basic data off to the big guys. And then when your answers come back, you reconnect it with the personal data.
This is actually, I'm hopping up because this is my lane. We learned about this last week at the Zendesk conference,
Nice.
where anything that you're sending, you don't want to send it via email. You don't want to send it to an unpaid LLM. But if you're uploading something to, say, Zendesk, and Zendesk is using OpenAI on the back end to power their agentic framework, they're under an agreement with OpenAI at the enterprise level that says OpenAI is not going to snoop and train on their data. And they're under a BAA or an agreement with the client that is using the tools that says we're not going to use your data outside of your use case. So we've got silos built in silos built in silos. And so, it operates on the same framework of communicating with your doctor through MyChart. You don't want to just send them an email, but if you're logging in and authenticating and using your thumbprint and password, then you're doing it in a secure environment. And any local LLM that's working within that framework is either air gap that's not connected to something on the outside. And if it is connected to something on the outside, they have a legal agreement in place that says it's not going to leave your grain silo.
Yeah, that's it. Basically, your job, if you want to professionalize your practice, it's one of the things we talk about in the Mastermind Practice Lab. If you want to professionalize your practice, it is on you to understand all of your handoffs and all of the components in the chain of, when a client logs into my app and they do something and it magically goes off into LLM land and does cool AI shit and brings back an answer, it's on me to understand what are all those components and what are all those data agreements and privacy agreements with every one of those components. And so, as Brandon said, if Zendesk has an agreement with OpenAI that this particular chain is HIPAA compliant, then I can send personally identifiable information there because I've got legal cover for that chunk of the chain. But then if I take that, same thing, and the next thing I send it to Claude, to their $20 a month subscription, and I don't have that agreement in place, well, now I've just sent, HIPAA information, out of something that was secure and compliant into something that wasn't. That's on me as a developer, right? To understand all of those. We have images to look at. Okay, great. So wait, I wanted to see this from Kelly. I understand the concepts, but my English major brain does not compute how to get a local large language model. Am I missing something basic? We've got a few minutes. Let me show you.
Watch the full replay at community.thesalon.ai.